extensions. Extensions are usually in the parenthesis. Parenthesis, you remember, we discussed about whatever the information that is something extra, you put it in brackets. Okay, so that is your parenthesis. So parentheses are something extra that you want to provide about a character, about a scene. Okay, so you will put it in parenthesis. Okay, so the things that are there in the parenthesis that are important for the actors and actresses who are going to enact as those characters. Okay, now for example, let me see if they have an example here. Okay, now see, ethylene bracket pause. That means the dialogue is going on. The next person's dialogue, that is Ethylene's dialogue, she took a pause and she said, okay. Okay. Now Royal's dialogue is where he continued. Maybe that person continued. You always put them first, didn't you? Okay. So that is where this is your parenthesis, or these are your extensions. Okay. See, again, there is a pause. So that means now Royal was, so God damn it, don't do that to yourself. I am the one who failed them. Or anyway, it's nobody's fault. Then he took a pause, plus it doesn't, and then the dialogue continued. Okay. Or you can say the dialogue is there, or anyway, it's nobody's fault, looked the other way. So that means right now that Royal is looking directly at Italy. Okay. Now then Royal will look some other way, and then Royal will say this dialogue, plus it doesn't matter, and then maybe continue the dialogue. Understood now? This is your extension. So this is your continued, such extensions are there. Then you have voiceover. Voiceover means whenever there is maybe a narrator is supposed to speak. So right now, if there's a conversation here and finally a voiceover, VO, then the person will speak, the narrator will speak. Okay. Or, maybe the next scene is there. Before starting the next scene, the voiceover or the narrator will speak, and then the next scene will start. Okay. So VO is your voiceover. Off screen. Off screen is basically sometimes in see what happens. I don't know how many of you have watched any type of theater, but usually see what happens. Suppose in a scene, the characters are few of the characters are talking in front of the stage. Okay, then suddenly there is a scene where few of the characters are behind the door, and then they are talking, and then you will hear their voice. Okay, it is deliberately shown in the in that skit. Okay, that means the other side actors and actresses also, the characters also, they are trying to overhear what is happening the other side of the door. Okay, so that is, but you are not able to see the other side, you can only hear their voice. So that is your off screen. Okay, understood now what is off screen? So basically your voice over, most of the times the narrators are off screen. Okay, sometimes the narrators they come up on the stage and then they narrate. Other times there are skits and plays also where the narrator never comes out on the stage but speak from off the screen. Okay, see, their examples are someone making an announcement, a character making a dramatic surprise entrance, a disembodied ghostly voice. Okay, so these are some of the examples. And sometimes whenever if you talk about some this king's court also, so when the king enter, there is this guard, they announce the arrival of the king. So sometimes you might be able to see the guard, sometimes you might not see the guard. Okay, but yes, you will hear their voice. Okay, so that is your off screen. Clear? Then now there are into devices. Into devices means maybe you will hear if there's a phone conversation. Okay, so who is ever at the other side, you will hear their voice. Okay, or maybe a person is listening to a radio, a person is watching television. Okay, so those are your into devices. Okay, then there are pre-labs. Pre-labs are basically your transitions. Okay, so transitions is basically where a dialogue is taken from the current scene, okay, to the next scene. That is what is your pre-lab. Okay, so that means say a conversation is happening among the characters who are sitting in the home, okay, inside their house. Okay, now the same when the scene takes to the next scene, okay, so that is your second two scene. There the dialogue will carry forward. Okay, so that means the character was having a same conversation here also. The characters will have the same conversation, or maybe they will discuss more about it in the next scene. Okay, so that is basically your pre-lab. Okay, clear now for everyone? Now whenever we are working on our parentheses, okay, parentheses are basically, these are the things that are very much required to explain what is happening, how a dialogue is spoken, how the characters are going to behave. Okay, so all these things are there in the parentheses. It is one of the most important part to tell the actors and actresses how they need to work on a particular scene. Also these things are going to help the these are basically called as technical directions. Technical directions means uh, here there are two types of things. Okay, whenever you're if you have seen a movie direction, also real life movie direction, or you might have seen a real life theater also, whenever they're directing, that means they're practicing. So that time you might have seen there's something called as soft directions and something called as technical directions. Okay, soft directions are where you're normally speaking a dialogue. Okay, the scene is just going on, so that is where soft directions are there. But how a dialogue is going to be spoken, what the characters are supposed to behave, are they supposed to stand cross hands, are they supposed to stand with their hands, maybe they want you want your character to itch on their hair, on their head, and then speak. Okay, or maybe you want your characters to count fingers and then speak. Okay, maybe you want your characters to tie their shoes and then speak. Okay, so those becomes your technical directions. Understood now? So these are your soft directions and technical directions. Okay, so basically whatever information that how a person is going to speak the dialogue, that is your, and how they are going to enact on it, that is your technical directions. They are important for the actors and actresses who are going to enact. For them, it is basically a rule to follow whenever they are speaking the dialogue. Okay, now see, these are the things: as loud as possible, painfully, tearfully, whispering, laughing. So whenever they're speaking a dialogue, so you need to laugh, either you need to whisper and speak. Okay, how a dialogue is to be spoken. Then their actions: shrugging, stretching, that is what I told you, itching their head, or tying the shoes, or maybe wearing a jacket, that time that person is speaking. Okay, falling to her knees, so the person is now about to fall on their knees. Okay, drawing his weapon, so they just want to take out their sword, and then that time they want to speak. So they are drawing his weapon, he spoke this and this dialogue. Okay, so these are the actions, these are the ways a dialogue is supposed to be spoken. Okay, clear? See now, Charlie is remembering something. Now your face, now Charlie is, whoever is playing Charlie, they have to show it on their face that they're thinking something. They're trying to remember something. We said it that time on the phone. Okay, so he's remembering that conversation and then he's speaking that dialogue. Okay, Nicole, let me finish, honey, hesitates, angry at herself. So now the next dialogue is where she is going to show angriness in her dialogue. Sorry, I kept saying that. Okay, so now that means where, now this is in capital, so that is the word where she is going to stress more. Okay, she resumes, I thought that if Henry was happy out here and my show continued, that we might do LA for a while. Okay, I don't know what LA means here, but yes, LA for a while. Okay, Charlie said, I was not privy to that thought process. Okay, so right now Charlie's dialogue is, this is a soft dialogue where there is no technical requirement is used. Understood now for everyone? See, now this is where Suppose now, Saloni, you and me are having a conversation. So I will say, Saloni, you know what? And then I will, I will, because there is a question, but still I am trying to say something. Okay, but I will take some time to say my next dialogue. So I'll say, Saloni, you know what? Okay, no, leave it. Let us not discuss about it right now. Okay. So what happened here? When I asked, you know what? So I took a pause, or maybe I waited for some time. So that is what is this this thing. These sorry, dots are there for. Okay. Whenever these dashes are there, dashes
Yes.
means here the dialogue is cut in between. So here what is happening? We said it that time on the phone, and then Nicole cut in. She said, let me finish, honey. And then hesitates, angry at herself. Okay. Sorry, I kept saying that. I thought that if Henry was happy out here and my show continued, that we might do LA for a while. Okay, so whenever a dialogue is cut in between by the other character, then you have to use these dashes. But
Okay.
yes, if there is a short pause, or maybe you want to show to your audience that the character is not very sure what is going to happen. Okay, so that time you are giving these dots here. So I thought that if Henry was happy out here, so she took a pause here. Understood now? So it is according to the scene where you want your dialogues to cut. Maybe you want the dialogue to finish full. That also is okay. If you want your characters to, to whenever they are having a verbal fight, so they usually cut the sentences of the other characters. This happens even when we suppose we are having a fight. Okay, verbal fight. So we also cut some the person who's in front of us. We also cut their dialogues, whatever they're trying to say. Okay, so that is what is happening among your characters also. Now, let us work on our screenplay transitions. Now, screenplay transitions is you're taking your audience from scene 1 to scene 2. So, in between, okay, that connection should not be lost. That is your transition. Okay, so how are you going to work on that transitions? Okay, now see, I gave you an example where the characters had a physical fight. Okay, so they fought with each other. Maybe one of the character died in that fight. Okay, maybe one of the character got badly hurt. Okay, everywhere that their blood is oozing out from their body. Okay, then act second will be, okay, maybe they are in the hospital. Okay, or maybe they reached their home, and whoever was in the home, they told that please take me to the hospital. So that is the second scene, which is followed by the previous scene. Okay, so that is your transition. If suppose a fight happened, okay, a physical fight where everyone got hurt, maybe some person died again, or maybe the one of the character is badly hurt, then the next scene is where there is a song. Okay, or maybe if not a song, then there is some other scene where party is going on. So can you get that connection? You will not be able to get that connection. So that transition should always be there. Okay, that momentum from the first scene to the next scene should not be lost. Okay, so basically in a script, it is usually shown that from scene 1 to scene 2 they write cut to. Okay, so if there is scene 1 here, then they will write cut to, and then next scene is there. Okay, so that is what is your transitions are whenever you're writing it on the for your scripts. Okay, then there is something called as smash to. Okay, smash to means it is abrupt. Okay, so maybe some dialogue is going on. Okay, a conversation is going on, and then abruptly the scene changes. Okay, so that is your smash to. Dissolve to is basically gradually, now the conversation is over, then the next scene will be, that means the first scene is dissolved into the second scene. Okay, so they are taking the conversation to the next scene. So that is what I told you, the conversation is going on, then the same conversation, with the same conversation the second scene will open. So that is your dissolving. Okay, now there comes this match cut to. Now match cut to is where you can say where the previous scene was, basically the first scene was shot, in the same place the second scene is there. Okay, but yes, the conversation might be different. So for example, if you're writing a story based on, if you're writing a script based on a story, where say incarnation is there, okay, so maybe in that particular same scene, their previous birth characters were standing and they were having a conversation. So next scene will be today also, those both characters are standing there only and they're having a conversation. Okay, so that is match cut to. Same scene is there, same location is there, same day and day, time, context is there. Okay, but the conversations might be different. Okay, understood now? That is match cut to. Understood? You can also show that in a particular stadium, cricket stadium, India lost its first game. Okay, and that is the history that you can show that. Okay, now today India won the first match on the same stadium where it lost say 30 years ago. Okay, so same thing is there. Okay, same scene was there, same game was being played, same situation, location, same time is there, but that time something else happened. Now this time something else is happening. Understood? Match cut to. Now intercut. Intercut is where that is what I told you. Suppose in that I told you, but remember that club, people are standing, some people are there in the balcony, some are there in the parking lot, some are there sitting on the table. Okay, so taking scene by scene, all the three conversations are happening simultaneously, so that is intercut. Okay, in the same scene, all the three, you have to show the conversation among all the three, okay, simultaneously, so that is your intercut. Okay, clear? So now see, cut to. One scene is there, then next scene is there. Okay, so that is your how you're going to show your in your script. Okay, now there are something called as subheaders. Okay, so subheaders are basically in the same scene. Okay, but in the same scene, the conversation or maybe the context is same, but the time is changed. Okay, so that is where you will use your subheadings. Okay, so basically they are also called as mini slug lines. So this is your slug line. Okay, then these are called as your mini slug lines under the same scene. Maybe the time has changed. Okay, or maybe the way a person maybe say the location is changed. Okay, that is where you will give a mini slug line. Okay, so right now it is in the night. Okay, then later in the night, okay, the next scene is, or if the scene is in a home or maybe in a drawing room of the home. Okay, so that is where you will write say sitting in front of the TV, and then the conversation is there, then later in the bedroom or later in the kitchen, so that will be your next scene. Okay, so these are all your sub headlines or mini slug lines. Clear now for everyone? Now, see, this is what I told you from the location also. So right now the person is in foyer and then they are in the library. Okay, so the location is changed. The time is changed. Okay, so maybe, they are inside or they're outside, the exterior and interior, you remember EXT and INT. So maybe right now they're sitting inside a library, then they came out from the library. So that is there, but the scene continues, the conversation continues. But now they're walking outside the library. Okay, so that is what is your location is also changed, or maybe sometimes the time is also changed. Okay, clear for everyone now? Now comes your shots. So shots are very, very important where, the scene are getting enacted. So those are basically your shots. How the shots will look from the camera. That is what is very, very important. So suppose if the camera is at the corner of that particular, say, location. Okay. So now how the characters will sit. Okay, and how they will enact. So all their body parts are in front of the camera. Okay, nothing is cut. So whenever you might have noticed, whenever you watch any type of movies, series, shows, any type, okay, the full body of the characters who are there in front of the camera, their full body is there. Okay, so that is what you need to work on. So usually these are very important, when you are working on, say, movie scripts, sometimes on the shows also. So these are very important that time. But usually when you're converting a script from a story, so that time that really is not required, these shots. Okay, because shots are based on how the camera is placed. So as a writer, it becomes very difficult for you to understand how you're going to write, how you're going to work on the camera angles and everything. Okay, but yes, whenever the movie is getting shot, or there is a, or the actors and actresses are practicing for a skit or for a theater, so that time the script writer is usually there with them. Okay, because script writer are the one who, if it is required to change any part of the script writer is going to do that. Okay, so script writers work is not finished till the script is finished. They have to work after that as well. Okay, clear. Recently many directors, they only become the writers, because directors are the one who calls the shots. Okay, who uses the camera, they are the one who work as the, how the shot is supposed to be, how the scene is supposed to be shot, and then where the characters should stand, what should happen. So these people only work on the scripts. Okay, so they are, director, writer, script writer, so they are almost the same person. Okay, clear now for everyone? Okay, see now, camera looks up a steep trail. That means what the camera is looking, the audience is looking. Okay, so camera looks up at a steep trail. So we are looking at the steep trail right now. Half the frame filled with a hill in close distance. So that means half of what we are looking at is the hills. Okay, the other half is the sky. Okay, so that means right now it is something horizontal. So the hills are there and the sky is there. Okay, over the top of the hill we see a prospector's pick come up, and then down, up and then down, up and then down. Okay, something it's going like this. Okay, angle behind the man with the pick, Daniel plain view, is the pick and axe in the middle of the day in 110-degree heat in New Mexico, searching for silver. Okay, so this is what is happening in the scene right now. Okay, so this guy is having a pick and an axe and is searching for silver, and it is this much hot right now and the place is New Mexico. He has a shaft about 15 feet deep at this point. Nearby a mule and a cart. He digs and digs and digs. Okay, so that means a mule and a cart is, the mule is tied to a cart and standing at some distance. Okay, and he's digging the soil with a shaft. Okay, then front angle, Daniel's face. So as you know, they will say, you must have heard or you must have seen movies or shows where the director says cut to the face. That means कैमरे को फेस के पास ले जाओ, take the camera near to the face of the character. Okay, so sometimes you will see the shows where the the face of the character is focused. Sometimes the whole frame is focused. Okay, clear now for everyone? So usually the script writers are the ones who direct. The directors only write the scripts. Okay, because they know how the camera works. Okay, so what happens now? As a script writer, you will write the script, but how the script is to be changed according to the camera and the angles of the camera and how it is supposed to be shot, all those is worked by the director. Clear now for everyone? Now, montage. Montage is basically there is a header and then there is a subheader. Subheader is where montage comes. Montage is basically you are going to start the scene. Okay, so begin montage. End montage is where you close the scene. Okay, again, it is not a compulsory option. Montage or begin montage, end montage is usually used by Shakespeare. Okay, Shakespeare and other authors of that time. So they used to write scripts also. So that time, whenever if you read their Ogilvy, if you read Odyssey, all these are this is where you will use begin montage and end montage. Nowadays no one's used this. Okay, begin montage means the scene starts and end montage means the scene ends. Okay, so right, it is not compulsory for you to use. It is this montage basically is quite confusing for writers, for story writers, script writers nowadays. So usually we don't use it. Okay, see, begin montage, then your XT, then you write about your slug lines. Okay, then the scene is there, the next scene, next scene, next scene, and then the end. Okay, so that is begin montage, end montage. This is really not required nowadays. No one uses it. Okay, now comes your lyrics. Lyrics is basically, it is used in screenplays. Okay, so now when we work on the lyrics are something, if you're including some syllables, some type of poem, some type of rhythmic dialogues, so that time you use your lyrics. So your song lyrics are basically song, whenever you work on the songs, you write lyrics for the songs. Okay, so those are your syllables. So that time you use your lyrics. Okay, clear? So lyrics are basically they are written quite separately from your screenwriting. So now lyrics are whenever you're working on the say direction, so that time you use lyrics. So maybe in your dances, in your songs, so that time you're working. So in between of the scenes, if there are some songs, some type of rhythmic some type of rhythmic what should I say, dialogues that are there. So even if there is no dance is required, but yes, a song is there, then those lyrics enter into the scene. Okay, sometimes what happens, the songs only, they describe the scene. Okay, so within the song you will see the actors and actresses, they are performing, they're enacting. Okay, so sometimes those songs are also there. Okay, so in those, during those songs, they are not dancing or they are not romancing around, rather the story continues. Okay, so that is what is the scenes, these songs, they work on the continuation of the stories also. Okay, clear now for everyone? So space it out is something where the scene gets over and it turns to be to a another it turns to a song where a new action takes place. Maybe the characters, they start romancing, maybe they start dancing. Okay, maybe they start doing something else which is separated from the scene. Otherwise, describe the sequence is there where the song becomes a part of the continuation of the story. Okay, the dialogues are not there, but yes, the characters are enacting and the story continues. Now suppose the characters are, they want to they want to achieve the goal that they want to open their own company. Okay, but to now open their own company, they have to do rather different types of things. Okay, so now the song will start, where the song tells about what type of different activities they are doing, how much hard work they are doing. Okay, and how much, and the song motivates the characters to achieve their goals. And during that song, instead of doing anything else, they are working for their goal. Okay, so maybe the characters are they are studying during that time. Okay, they're studying hard to achieve their goal. Some of the characters are, they are going out and checking out how the company should be set up. Then other character is going and talking to other people to get involved in their company. Other character is trying to get the capital for the company. So everything is happening in that song, so there is no dialogue in between, but yes, the story continues. Understood now? That thing is over, that song is over. Then there is a scene where where they might have achieved, they might have opened the company. Okay, the next scene is where they are doing puja, that that they have opened their company, and now they are going to start working on it. Okay, so the whole time that they spent on understanding how to open a company and the process of opening a company, everything is done within that song only. I hope it is clear. What example can I give you? Mithali Raj, I think Mithali Raj's movie came. Yeah, this person was the actor there. Tapsi Pannu was there. In that, you will see when she's practicing. Okay, when she's practicing to become a good player, to become a good cricket player. That time, that her practice, during the whole practice session, that goes under a song. Okay, and then the next scene, after, as soon as the song gets over, she enters the academy. So that is what is your describing the sequence. Okay, so she's not dancing in that song, or she's not romancing with someone in the song. She's rather continuing, the movie is continuing in the song. Okay, clear for everyone? Now this is your Land. So now here, see, Sebastian speaks singing at first, encounters Mia, pokes fun at her type and the LA she seems to represent. Mia, energized, responds in kind, pokes hole at Sebastian's presentation bit by bit. These two have worked their way into a playful and combative musical number. Okay, so musical number is where the whole scene, the whole this thing, maybe the whole story or the whole skit or the whole play is a musical play. So those are called as the musical numbers. Okay, so again, that is what you can work on. So you gave a perfect example, Saloni, La La Land. Okay, otherwise this is known as this describe the sequence where the scene is cut and then the song is there and the new scene starts. Then there is a musical number where the whole skit, play, or the whole scene is under a music. Clear now for everyone? Now there's something called as crayons. Okay, now crayons are basically, these are the what should I say, they tell the audience about the time and the place of that particular scene. Okay, so those are called as crayons. These are used as the in place of titles you write crayons. Okay, now for example, see, over black. So now this basically, whatever is the scene. Okay, so here it is in Philadelphia and then your title is there. Okay, so this is basically is known as your crayon. Okay, so have anyone seen Friends, Big Bang Theory? So these are the shows that are happening on the real time basis for the audience sitting in front of them. Okay, they are getting directed also at the same time, and a real audience are also sitting in front of the stage. Okay, so now there you will see on the blackboard laughing, clap here, then cry, ooh sound. Okay, so they are known as crayons. Okay, so you have to use them. Also, there are one more crayon where the the narrator is there standing in front of the audience, and then on the screen in front of them they have different types of dialogues, or say different types of intimations of how to speak the dialogue. You can cry right now, you speak the title, laugh right now. All these intimations are there, or the full script is there running in front of them. Okay, so those are called as crayons. Okay, clear? Now is the end of the story. End means where you are going to say that it is in the script. Okay, you are going to talk about whether the scene is getting ended or not. Okay, so here usually scenes means they are under acts. Okay, act 1, act 2, and act 3. Okay, now here you can put it end of act 1. Okay, end of act 2, and end of act 3. Okay, and you are going to start the scenes also act 1, and then you're going to start it. Okay, under those acts you're going to have different scenes. Once those scenes are done, suppose all that there are 10 scenes in act 1, all the scenes are done. After the 10th one, you will write end of act 1. Okay, then act 2 is there. Act 2, you will give the title act 2. Then the slug lines and all these things will be there, titles and everything will be there. And at the end, there will be end of act 2. Okay, clear now for everyone? Okay, these are end of the story.